Well, Gonky, Navy, FA, Triple X, fighter delays.
Yeah. So they're delaying about $1 billion of funding for their next generation fighter, and leadership saying it's because we got problems now. We need this. We need this money now for, they claim people, but I think it's a little suspect. I think it's if you read the article, talks about stopping the Hornet production line, and it talks about a little bit about the F-35 thing, and then I thought is pretty interesting. It's like the Navy's like, we don't want to do another joint F-35 effort with the Air Force because, shocker, the missions are quite different when you're dealing with these kinds of airplanes, 5th gen, 6th gen type airplanes. So standard stuff, right? They're looking at proposals out there, right? I'm sure all your big aerospace contractors are still in the mix, but I think the Navy. I always thought the Navy did a good job of heavily investing in the Super Hornet, kind of knowing F-35 would be late.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're doing that now. Gosh, the Hornet's been kind of the backbone for 30 years, and I get it. They kind of want to move on, and it's pretty apparent to me. I get the impression the Navy doesn't have, like, the F-35. I don't think is going to be their workhorse. But I don't know if leadership regarding the next generation fighter, I don't know if they're going to manage the gap, because we'll talk about it here in a little bit about the F-35, but it has taken it 20 years to get to full rate production, right? I mean, how do you, with all the delays and stuff, how do you plan for that? I mean, good on them for dealing with the problems now that they have. Because if you don't fix the problems you have now, there might not be a tomorrow. But I don't know. Mover, what do you think? I mean, the Air Force is right, developing their 6th gen. The Navy is too. They're not gonna play together anymore.
Dude, I don't know how we procure anything anymore, like any service, because you really, I mean, look at all the news right now from all the contractors. Boeing is a dumpster fire. Lockheed's having issues with their upgrades for the F-35 production stuff. I mean, look how long it took Tyndall to even stand up with the F-35 when we were talking about that. You don't have enough competition. The consolidation of the industry has created such a problem that I just don't know how you plan for it, because you don't really have a competition anymore, because it's the same players, and the same players, they win this award, and then they give you this timeline. Well, first they give this unrealistic, okay, we'll do it for, $4 trillion. Oh, well, it was actually about $6.9 trillion, but you're already invested and it's too late to go back because they already threw away their models. So you lose that, because once they have them, and there seems like there's no accountability for the actual production IOC and all that stuff. But then when you finally get to that point, it's obsolete. The technology we're in this cycle where by the time it actually gets IOC, we've run our previous airframes into the ground, sometimes figuratively, sometimes literally, and we're already thinking about the next generation of fighter. I mean, think about it, dude. We're not even fully, the F-35 is not even where it should be, and we're talking 6th gen fighter, because it's snuck up on us. It snuck up on me. I mean, maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, but like at this rate, we're talking 2040s before we even see a 6th gen fighter, because just look at how long it takes.
Well, and then more importantly, I mean, what characteristics, what is the threat that the 6th gen fighter is going after?
Drones.
Right. We talked about So,
Yeah.
it might be a thing where the Navy's like, dude, like, I think 6th gen fighters are relevant, at this point. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't envy them because the decisions you make now can lose you wars tomorrow.
Right.
And that is the scariest part because we are the leader now, but we may not be the leader tomorrow. And it only takes one or two innovations while we're in debt up to our eyeballs. We're cutting back. I want to talk about these retirements. Like we're losing capability with no actual replacements for these aircraft. So what do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're grappling with that. And like you said, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. For sure there will be more delays. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that you can actually bank on is
Wow.
for sure there will be more delays, and the F-35 and the Hornet will fly longer than intended. I mean,
Yeah. Wow.
That-
I don't know. It's not my I'm just a innocent bystander, Gonky.
I know.